Hello, sports fans. This is the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, a.k.a. Mr. Bookmaker, your source for the sports betting industry 24/7. Sit back, relax, and listen as Mr. Bookmaker highlights what's happening right now in the world of sports. So, without further ado, here's your host, Art Eftekhari.
All right, hello sports fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Bookmaker Podcast. Yes, it's me, Art Eftekhari. I'm your host. Glad to have you back. I do hope you enjoyed the World Cup qualifiers this past week. I know I did. Before we continue, make sure you check out our website. You know the address, bookmakerinfo.com. That's www.bookmaker-info.com. You know the deal. We got the Bookmaker 101 Basics, steps on how to register, bet, and withdraw. We also have the Bookmaker Guide available for you to download. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, learn it, live it, love it. We're getting things started off with our A to Z sports betting lingo. And the word of the day here is edge. Now, what do I mean by edge? Well, this is a person's advantage when it comes to sports betting. And remember, you are listening to this edition of the Bookmaker Podcast because I want you to have the edge going into this weekend as you get ready to place your bets and take your love of sports to the next level. Now, I have a question for all you listeners. Are you ready for some football? And if you are, get to bet365.com. That's www.bet365.com. I know on our previous edition of the Bookmaker Podcast, I was telling you about how excited I was about World Cup qualifiers. But look, let's be real now. The 2017 National Football League season is about to kick off. This is what I call that most wonderful time of the year, because I'm ready for Sundays of watching football and also Monday nights. Yes, I know Thursday nights are included as well, but for this edition, by the time you will hear this podcast, the Thursday night game will have already been played. So let's get right down to business and see which games will be taking place as we open up the 2017 National Football League season. First off, you got the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Detroit Lions. Now for the spread here, the Cardinals enter this game as 2-point favorites. Now if you want to go with the money line, the payout here shows 4-5 for the Cardinals, 21-20 for the Detroit Lions. In my opinion, this game is going to be one of those toss-ups. But the fact is, when it comes to opening week in the National Football League, there's going to be a lot of games that people are going to say is a toss-up. But don't worry, I'm not going to say that to you for every game, because as we know, if a game involves the Jets or the Browns, well, you know what I'm trying to say. Next, you got the Atlanta Falcons on the road against the Chicago Bears. The Falcons enter that game as 7-point favorites. For the money line, 1-3 for the Falcons, 12-5 for the Bears. Then you got the Baltimore Ravens visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. These division matchups are always exciting. Bengals actually, as the home team, enter the game as 3-point favorites. On the money line here, payout shows 13-10 for the Ravens, 4-6 for the Bengals. And then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road against the Houston Texans. Another division matchup here. The Texans are 6-point favorites. Are they going to cover the spread? The payout here shows 2-1 for the Jaguars, 5-12 for the Texans. Texans are heavily favored there. I don't want to necessarily say that they are heavily favored, but I believe they should come out on top there. Then you got the Jets on the road against the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, 9-point favorites entering this match. On the money line here, 16-5 for the Jets, 1-4 for the Bills. Now earlier, I made a little bit of a joke involving the New York Jets. This is going to be tough though. It's a division matchup. You never know how it's going to go. But with the Buffalo Bills, they still have LaShawn McCoy, a good running attack. Got to go with the Bills here. Then you got the Oakland Raiders on the road against the Tennessee Titans. And believe it or not, here it's showing that the Titans are 1.5-point favorites. And that's what you call a toss-up there. For the money line, it shows 23-20 for the Raiders, 20-27 for the Tennessee Titans. But look, I'm here to help you now, obviously. I'm not a fan of the Raiders, but go with the Raiders to beat the Titans. This is a season, I believe, where the Raiders are really going to cause some damage in their division and quite possibly win the AFC West. Then, it's the Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Washington Redskins. Eagles here are favored by a point, and the money line payout shows 20-23 for the Eagles, 20-21 for the Washington Redskins. And before we continue, make sure you check out our website. You know the address, bookmakerinfo.com. That's www.bookmaker-info.com. On our website, you have easy access to the Bookmaker 101 Basics. That includes steps on how to register, bet, and withdraw. Our Bookmaker guide is available to download. Read through it at least 2 or 3 times. Remember, I want you to become an expert on this whole entire online sports betting process. And remember, we have betting strategies, tips. Don't forget about our A to Z sports betting lingo. Remember, you may not sound like an expert just yet, but keep on listening to the Bookmaker podcast. Check out our website, and you'll be good to go. All right, continuing on now with opening week of the National Football League season. And before I do continue, actually, the game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Miami Dolphins has actually been postponed for this weekend, and that is due to Hurricane Irma and the danger it poses wherever it's going, especially in the state of Florida. That game will have to be rescheduled later in the season, but wishing everyone well and be safe. Now, as we continue on here, another good division matchup. This is one of your classic division matchups, as in historical terms with the National Football League. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be visiting the Cleveland Browns. The Steelers are favored by 9 points. On the money line here, 4-17 is the payout for the Steelers, 13-4 for the Cleveland Browns. And remember, for those of you out there who like to place your wager on the favorites, look, the truth is, you're going to want to pick some underdogs here. It's not going to turn out exactly how you expect it. Someone is bound to pull off an upset, even on opening week. So let's continue on now. Next, you got the Indianapolis Colts visiting the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are actually 3.5-point favorites. It's not a surprise to me, seeing as how Indianapolis Colts quarterback Andrew Luck is not 100% with his health. Payout here shows 167-100 for the Colts. Wow. Then you got the payout for the Rams, 25-48. Now, fans of the LA Rams are expecting some great things this season. Well, I don't know if I want to say the word great, but they're obviously expecting their team to turn it around. But with the Colts, if you feel like being a risk taker, I say go with the Colts on the road to upset the Rams. Next, you got the Carolina Panthers visiting the San Francisco 49ers. The Panthers entered this game as 5.5 favorites. The money line here shows 20-47 for the Panthers, 39-20 for the San Francisco 49ers. And based on how I introduced those two teams, yes, I am a huge fan of the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are coming off a 2-14 season. They have hired a new GM. They have hired a new head coach. There's a lot of change there. They are a young team. Gotta go with the Panthers to win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners give the Panthers a run for their money. Then you got the Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Green Bay Packers. Definitely going to be one of the most entertaining games this weekend. Packers are favored by 3 points, as they should be, when Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback and they're playing at Lambeau Field. Payout here shows 7-5 for the Seahawks, 5-8 for the Packers. I say go with the Packers there. Now, for the Sunday night football game, the New York Giants will be visiting the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys enter this game favored by 4 points. The money line here shows 17-10 for the Giants, 1-2 for the Cowboys. Now, with the Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately for them, running back Ezekiel Elliott is going to be suspended for 6 games, but he will play in this opening game against the New York Giants. Yes, I know, kind of strange, but the way this whole legal system and appeals process works with the NFL is very strange. But anyways, go with the Cowboys there. They should come out on top. Now, for Monday Night Football, as we always have, opening week for the National Football League season, you have 2 games on Monday Night Football. The first game on Monday night, the New Orleans Saints will visit the Minnesota Vikings. And I like this matchup here, and that is because Adrian Peterson, running back for the Saints, for those of you who are big football fans, he played for a long time with the Minnesota Vikings, and he will be making his return to Minnesota. The Vikings enter this game as 3-point favorites. The money line here shows 29-20 for the Saints, 20-33 for the Vikings. That should be a good one, but I will say it is another one of those toss-ups. And last but not least, for the late Monday night game, you got the Los Angeles Chargers visiting the Denver Broncos. The Broncos enter this game as 3.5-point favorites. The money line here shows 6-4 for the Chargers, 10-17 for the Broncos. The Chargers have had some down years recently. It's going to be a good game, but the question is, will Phillip Rivers be able to keep on throwing for lots of yards? Will he be able to frustrate the Denver Broncos defense? And that is it, everyone, for this edition of the Bookmaker podcast. Really do appreciate the support. Make sure you visit our website. You know the address, bookmakerinfo.com. That's www.bookmaker-info.com. Remember, I am here to help you take your love of sports to the next level. Thank you for listening, everybody, and I hope you will enjoy this weekend's National Football League matchups.
This has been the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, a.k.a. Mr. Bookmaker. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, please show some love by subscribing to this podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. Till next time, this is Mr. Bookmaker over and out.